Hello folks, I'm Dan. Little quick, I guess, shop update today. It's Monday today and the sun's out and I've got a few things done and I'm out here in the airplane factory just cleaning up and kind of organizing a little bit. And I was cleaning stuff up and got to blowing stuff off with air. And last fall I did a little thing on air hoses and what air hoses I was trying out and recommended and that type of thing. And I thought I'd touch on those while it was fresh in my mind. The air hoses I used to use out here and I've been through a little bit of everything. You know, I've used standard 3/8 air hoses. I've run the PVC line, which is not that great for any applications that I've found. I've used this blue braided, 1/4-inch hose, and I kind of had settled on that, thought it was kind of the thing, and I've used it for quite a while, and it works well. The thing I don't like about it is it kind of kinks. Even though it's not supposed to, it'll kink, and it's stiff enough that if you get it hooked on something, why it doesn't want to really release from there, or it works better than most that I'd found. And the latest I tried was this 1/4-inch hybrid hose. And this is 1/4-inch. Most of what I've seen has been the 3/8, but this came from one of the big box stores. It was branded Bosch, but they're all pretty well made in China. I've discovered they're marked made in China. The hybrid hose is supposed to be the best of all worlds and do everything. I found that the 3/8 hose was a little bit bigger than I like to drag around compared to the blue braided, and you can get that braided in a green hose, and it's made several different ways, but it's all basically the same hose. And I liked it better than I liked the 3/8 hybrid hose. The 3/8 was just a little bit too big. I didn't like dragging that around. So this is 1/4-inch, and it's, like I say, it's branded Bosch. Came in a 50-footer, I believe, and I cut it in half for in my little airplane factory. 25-foot or whatever it worked out to be was just right. I built me some tooling. I do my own little crimps on the end, just using soft copper pipe. And that works pretty well, although I think I found a better way to do that too. I've got to experiment with that a little bit, but I found something that's easier and better and cheaper than messing around with all of that. This came with fittings on both ends, and of course I put threaded ends on the one end. What I did was I took both ends and put another push-on connector on one end, used the factory connector, which this is a Bosch push-on connector, and it's on I run two of these, where I cut them in half. One of them's regulated that I run my rivet guns on, and the other one is unregulated air, which is 125 pounds, is about what I run back here. And it came with this push-on fitting. I think it's probably a better fitting than I put on the other one, but it's kind of stiff. It's a little bit bulky, and it works a little bit hard. Whereas the other 1/4-inch U fitting I put on, I don't know if they're a 1/4-inch, but the other U fitting I put on goes on quite a bit easier, and it releases a little bit easier. Now this is on my regulated supply, so there's not enough pressure, as much pressure working against it as there is on the other one. But even before I started using them, playing with them, this is a little bit easier connector to use, and this is, there again, a big box store connector. It's one of the cheap ones. I suspect that Bosch connector will hold up a little bit better, but I will probably replace it at some point in time with another one of these. It's a little bit bigger. The Bosch is a little bit bigger, about a 1/4-inch, and it's just a little bit clunkier fitting. I just don't like it as well. Anyway, the thing about these hybrid hoses is I like them. I think they're a good alternative. They still don't coil up as well as even a standard rubber hose. You know how if you take a rubber hose, and I just hang mine up here. So I've got two of them, one for my regulated, one for my unregulated. And of course they've set most of the winter. It's been cold out here, but they're still soft and flexible. They work real well. I didn't notice them being any stiffer or hard to work with. But when you coil them, they don't coil as nice. Even if you stretch them out straight and then coil them back up, they still tend to take a set. So I don't like them in that respect in my little shop space, why they're kind of cumbersome to try and work around and work with. I think probably what I'm going to do with them is get a couple of the retractable reels that I can mount in the ceiling, and whether I buy Ryobi or whatever I can find from the big box store, those have usually got a 3/8 hose in them. I'm probably going to pull that 3/8 hose out and put this 1/4-inch hybrid hose back in, and I think that's probably the best of both worlds. I like the hybrid hoses. They're a little bit softer. They tend to slide around stuff a little bit easier. So anyway, that's kind of just my little update for the day. I told you guys I'd do something on that, so I wanted to let you know what I'd found out and what I'd kind of decided. I think they're a good option for the airplane factory back here. I run 125 pounds of air on that unregulated supply. What I discovered, and the only place that really makes a difference, quarter-inch airline, you lose a lot, of course, by the time you get out to your tool. This quarter-inch hose works fine for the rivet guns. It works fine with the air drills. It's got plenty of air supply for that, especially those little Chicago pneumatic, the little light duty air drills that I like so well, the little red ones that I've linked below in the description. The only place I really notice it being maybe a little bit underpowered is when I'm just using a blowgun, and there again, you've got to take that with a grain of salt, because I'm used to having 175 pounds of air in the main part of the shop, and when you put a blowgun on that and push the trigger away, you've got a lot of air coming out. The only other place I found it's made a difference is on the press. It's got the air assist on it, and even on the unregulated air, there's just not quite enough flow. That air assist kind of struggles. That's a relatively cheap jack that's on there too, so, and it's a couple 3 years old, so that air assist may be getting bad too, but I feel like it's losing quite a bit through that quarter-inch hose. So other than that, in the airplane factory, I think there's plenty of air supply. Anything I'm doing bigger than that with 1/2 or 3/4 inch impact guns and that type of stuff, why, I run off of the main shop air that's 175 pounds, and I'm not doing that back here anyway. Got over all the last little drama of building airplanes here over the weekend. We're done with that crap, and wrote a little blog on that on my website just to kind of explain my positioning on that. But we moved past that. Sun's out, nice day out here. We're back to building airplanes. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys. If you find that interesting, why, and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like them, and any relevant comments you've got, leave them in the comment section for me below. And if you enjoy these videos, why, hang around. We're back to building airplanes. Thanks for taking the time to watch.